What's up everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Guitar channel, where science meets soul. In this video I'll be doing a tutorial on the song Simple Gifts by Jesse Wells. I'll be covering the intro, the verse, the chorus, the bridge, the outro, and at the end I have 3 helpful tips. I give the overall difficulty of this song a 6.4 out of 10. If you take a look at the left hand, it actually has some pretty simple shapes. We just have our normal open chord shapes, but you're going to have to do a walking bass line throughout it, and you'll have to do some hammer-ons. So for this reason I give it a 5.5 out of 10. The rhythm of this song is pretty straightforward. We have a lot of quarter notes and eighth notes, but it does go really fast, and it does have these hammer-ons interjected in between them, which are really hard to manage at this speed. So for this reason I give it a 6.5 out of 10. The right hand is using our standard Travis picking technique, where we play a bass note followed by some melodic notes that Jesse Wells uses all the time. It has a few different patterns throughout this, and it's zipping through. So for this reason I gotta give it a 7 out of 10. To determine the difficulty of each song, I add up the left hand rhythm and right hand difficulties and round out that average. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is take a look at the right hand. So the right hand picking pattern is thumb on the bass strings, and then index on the third, middle on the second, ring on the first. So these 3 will stay here, and then thumb will be alternating. And the picking pattern starts on an E minor 7. So you're going to add your pinky to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and we'll take a look at the picking pattern, which is thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, like this. So if you break that down really slow, that's thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index. Then we're going to go to a G chord shape, and all you need is your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, which is really nice. And we'll do the same right hand pattern, thumb on the 6th string, and then thumb on the 4th string, index, 6th string, middle, 4th string, index, like this. Now what he does that makes this a little bit harder to do is he hammers on this 3 to start it off. And when you're going fast, that's kind of hard to do, but that's 0 to 3 on the 6th string, and then you continue on. And then we're going to go to a C chord, and they're going to do 4 patterns on this chord, and the first half is a little different than the second half. When you get to the C chord, you'll have to add your pinky to the 1st string on the 3rd fret, which is a G, which is this open sound. Jesse Wells loves this sound. It's an open sound. So what you'll do is thumb on the 5th string, thumb on the 4th string, index on the 3rd. You're going to have to change the bass note to the 3rd fret of the 6th string. And here we're going to do a pattern of 6th string, 2nd string, 3rd string, 1st string, thumb, middle, thumb, index. And we'll do this back on a C chord, same pattern. So the 3rd fret, 5th string, and then back to the 3rd fret of the 6th string. When you put the C chord together, it sounds like this. So you repeat the E minor, G, C chord pattern twice, and then you're going to get to an A minor 7, and you'll just stay on this and do the pattern for 4 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index. That's the pattern. So 4 of those, and sometimes he adds in the G on top, which makes this an A minor 7 on the top end. first half of the verse is exactly the same as the intro, except we take out the A minor. So if we're going to look at the second half of the verse now, so let's break this down. You'll do the pattern on A minor twice, then on a C chord with our alternating bass, and you'll do that pattern twice. Then you're going to go to a G chord and do the pattern once. You do thumb on the 6th string, thumb on the 3rd string, middle, thumb on the 6th string, 1st string, thumb on the 3rd string, middle, like this. And then you'll do that same pattern on a D chord, except you're going to have to move your thumb to the 4th string bass. And then you're going to go back to our A minor, and you'll do it twice here. And this is now new. We're going to have to add a tag. This is like an ending tag that we'll see throughout this song. It's like a D chord walking bass line. There's no video I found of him playing it this way, so I've had to listen to this from the recording, and I think he does the D chord shape with your pinky instead of the 3rd finger, which allows that to do this walking bass line down, but it's pretty crunched up, so I don't really know. If you know how he's doing that, let me know. But you'll do this little entrance before the bass line, which is thumb, index, middle and ring at the same time, and then you play an E on the 1st string open, so you take your 2nd finger off like this. And then you put your 2nd finger back down, and we're going to do a walking bass line where you hammer on fret 3 of the 5th string with your 3rd finger, and you'll continue on with our pattern. And then you're going to hit the 2nd fret, so this is the stretch, and you'll hammer that 2nd fret on the 5th string. And then he does the 5th string open, index middle, hammer on fret 2 of the 6th string, index middle, like this. Hammer on, pattern, hammer on 2nd fret, pattern, open, hammer on 6th string. Chorus is probably the easiest one of them all. So you're going to do a pattern twice on E minor, and then twice on your G chord with just your 3rd finger, and then you're going to do 4 patterns on C with our walking bass, and then you're going to go back to A minor, and then you only do a pattern once on C. And then here we go back to our intro tag. When you get to the 2nd chorus, after you do the intro tag at the end, you cut out the A minor part, the A minor 7, and you add in the D tag afterwards. I've got a PDF of the structure of this in the description below. So you'll do the pattern twice on G, and then on a D chord with an alternating bass line to the 5th string. So you do that pattern twice, which is thumb, thumb, index, 5th string, middle, thumb, thumb, index, 5th string, middle. And then you're going to go to an E minor. You'll do the pattern twice. And then we're going to go to an A7 here, and this is a cool little lick, which sounds like this. The A7 lick, you'll do thumb, thumb and middle at the same time, and then we'll do a pattern. And then you're going to do a pattern on the 5th fret. So that same shape just slides up 2 and 3 fingers. And then you're going to slide back to finger 2 on the 4th string, and 4th fret, and you'll have to add your 1st finger to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Pattern, thumb, index, thumb, middle. And then you'll do the pattern on an A7 chord again. And then you add in this bass line, and we have our D chord tag. The first tip I have is to practice the right hand pattern with open strings. And when you get good at that, what you need to work on is adding in the hammer on with the left hand. So the first one I recommend to try it with is this G chord, because that's the easiest one. It's just the 3rd fret on the 6th string. So you hammer it on, and then you do the rest of the pattern. And just loop it. And try and speed that up and work it out, and then go try the rest out. The second tip I have is to practice these alternating bass notes without the right hand picking pattern that's so crazy. So why don't you try doing thumb, thumb and middle, and then you change the bass. Get better at this. Just get used to changing that chord while your right hand's doing some fingerstyle, and then try to do the real thing. The third tip I have is to just strum through all the chords. Just do down strums. And if you can get these changes a little bit better in the left hand, that'll help you when you go to try to add in the right hand picking pattern. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to help. And I also take requests, folks. You know the drill. So if there's a song you want me to do, I'll make a tutorial for you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.